Dear friends, it's a welcome back to your favorite Christian morning show in Ghana. Baby, yedri asem kese so ana yedri. Debi a meta meka se mekase yedu asem kese so anya sa asem bi esi na mum asem bi ehu hia na ye tam na yedi hu nkomo. Today we are going to have a beautiful discussion, and our topic for discussion is journalism in focus. We are going to understand what really the tenets and the rudiments of journalism are. But more importantly, we are going to discuss the various atrocities that have been meted towards some Ghanaians in the past few years. Journalists we akobono, journalists we ni akobono, journalists we ni akobono. We are say. But on the other hand, you have a lot of people who are applying to the various communication schools, the various journalism schools, whether public or private, and want to be admitted into school. But almost so say Jumano so I style be. Media nanka me method is software. Now so many see here, Mayor and Century Juma. Now before I introduce my panelists this morning for the discussion, let's do some semantics and syntax. What is journalism at all? See, I can't say obi and century niya. Why na yen century ni? Now, journalism is a collection, preparation, and distribution of newspapers and related commentary and featured material through such print, electronic media as newspapers, magazine, books, blogs, website, podcasts, social media, and the likes, including radio, motion pictures, and television. Say ayoda and yesiso. I'm defining journalism again for you. Now, journalism is the collection, preparation, and distribution of news and related commentary and featured materials through such print and electronic media such as the newspaper, magazine, books, blogs, website, podcast, social network, emails, radio, motion pictures, and television. But you know what? Ghana has had a history of journalism, and the first media print, which was supported by Sir Charles Mackay right between the years of 1822 to 1825, there was the Gold Coast Gazette and the Commercial Intelligencer. Fitisamre na nunsentre djuma na ba ma ebiso so ababedu eye WTV. So now this morning I have two journalists from the WTV who are going to share with me their experiences and their akosem in journalism. Now I also will have a lecturer in communication who is also a minister of the Methodist Church to also explain to us what it has taken him to be how far he. But right here on the show we have your favorite Miss Nachole Madam Anita na Afarley Quarcoo.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know her full name, I repeat, Madam Anita na Afarley Quarcoo, aka Miss Na. She is the co-host of the favorite program 𝗟𝗓𝗏 na Shrine. Seated by him is another wonderful gentleman, although Sakura, but he has a lot of stuff in his head and in his body. Hitherto coming to join us on the WTV show and the WTV fraternity. We had always touted him as the two-time nominee of the Komladumo BBC Award. He has several years of internship and real work in journalism, right from the University of Ghana or the Nehon Ashe in Semchuro Ejuma Nimu. Summary, he is the anchor for that wonderful bipartisan show, The State, where he probes the issues fearlessly, said ye Christo ebeye no. 𝗏𝗏𝗍 Shandorf.
All the things that you're saying, it is. Anyway, I'm just a journalist.
Well, it's important. I must break the ice. Ice
well broken.
Well broken. Yeah, well all right, so let's go on Zoom. We have my brother. Say, Enye Sofudia. Ka meka say baako ye baako menti ana baako ye baako mento but asofudi enti better. Once a senior, always a senior.
Sure.
All right. The Osofo Samuel Glover Asante is an adjunct lecturer with the Department of Communication at the hitherto GIG. Say Osofo mu school no kra nya din foforo ye say friend Unimat. Sana say a fresh school no.
It's school in the University of Media, Arts and Communication.
Okay. And no Unima
journalism.
Unima. Okay. All right.
Unima Institute of Journalism, and I'm working Department of Public Relations.
All right. Department of Public Relations, your communication, okay. Also for that's it. Beba was so na yaba baby sa, but quickly no. How will an Osofo transition into public relations and journalism all of a sudden? What in Kababro and our Trinity. But what has been the trajectory? Just 1 minute. At the end about with Trinity, a software as you could see Barbaro. Now, a question Patrick say, we say, your public relation, wo yen central Juma.
Yeah, Dog, who say, Methodist, a sorry, beer. You take chances, and in fact, and Yamasu in Yago. It at any space of the world, Libyan, the Methodist Church will want to train people so that they can be able to fill all those places. The banner said, be able to me abua a sorry no. Let us say, Nina, they are so for a well versed to be able to fix into those positions and to assist the church members and the church as well. And you know, I saw Nankasa effort on also make issue say in all aspects of education, holistically, or be training in various places. Send a bear here, baby, I able to make the sound as check.
Yo, Osofo, you better say, but we'll be back to. Hello, Osofo, can you hear me? All right, all right, so we'll be back to unearth some much more details from your journey into the space. But the Ensha CMF, Misna, how did you become a journalist?
Okay, so good morning to all our viewers. I can remember when I was in primary school, class 6 to be precise. My dad would be taking us to school, and you know, usually in the mornings, I can't remember the name of the radio station, but and then the 6 o'clock news would start. And then my dad would be sitting in the car and tell me to rehearse or listen to the first line of that's the lead. I got to know about it when I started journalism. So the first paragraph of the story, he will tell you to listen to it. And then when they are done, you have to repeat it. So you just have to mimic whatever you heard. And so that was where the passion for reading started. And then I got to the GHS. I mean, when a teacher steps into the class, she asks us, or he asks us to read, and my name is not mentioned, I'll fight for it. And then I entered into senior high school, the same thing. My literature teacher would always say, Madam Betty.
Senior high school,
So right. Auntie Betty would say that. Anita, get up and read. And then at first I was very shy when I had to step because the class was very full. General Arts A and then B, combination of the two. So we had about 96 students in that class. And imagine getting up or standing up to stand in front of the whole class and then read to them. And sometimes you have to mention a word and you have to find difficulty, and you know how students would definitely behave. But through it all, I realized that, look, this is what I really wanted to do. I wanted to pursue another course. But in my line of, shikabe kenibiye, I had to focus on journalism. But initially, I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to read law.
Oh,
but today I am here, and I thank God because it's.
No, you are not here yet. Too. You are not here yet.
Oh, I mean, I am a journalist.
Okay,
yes,
right.
So that's
right.
what I'm saying.
So I still need you to bring us to the WTV studios. Before that, where did you go?
Okay.
Up to where we are now.
All right. So I completed SHS in the year 2011, and then in 2012 I went back to school. I went to the university. I attended JE actually. So in JE University I did the course in journalism. I majored in broadcast journalism, specifically TV presentation. And so after that I did my National Service with Information Service Department, ISD, in Cape Coast. I came back to Accra in 2015. Then in 2016 I wanted to do something. I didn't know where to start from. So an uncle, my mother's brother, pushed me to TV3. So in 2016, I was in TV3. I did an attachment for 3 months. After the first 3 months, it was extended. And then the third time it was going to be extended, I had to step out because I had something that needed my urgent attention at home. That is a different matter altogether. And then I sat at home for a while. In 2017, I worked with Amania FM. It's just around the Radio Gold area. I hosted a morning show for a year. And then in 2019, I left again. Then I went to Adwa Television, that is the Anglican Diocese of Accra. I stayed there from 2018 through to earlier part of last year, that is 2023. And I left, and then in September 2023, I joined WTV. The journey hasn't been easy, though. Yeah, it hasn't been easy.
All right, we'll sing the journey has not been easy for you when we are done. But let's go to 𝗏𝗏𝗍. 𝗏𝗏𝗍, the name 𝗏𝗏𝗍 sometimes appear to some people as a derivative from a certain proper name.
Yeah.
So now tell us what that proper, your given name when you were born. Then you tell us why the 𝗏𝗏𝗍 as your media name.
So the 𝗏𝗏𝗍 is actually 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗘. Let me spell it. 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘. 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗘 is often, like you rightly said, it's a derivative of your official name.
Okay.
So the official name on paper is Derek Shandov Ayrebiakwa. But I'm a Sunday born.
Okay.
And Sunday borns, I mean, in a cultural context, they are 𝗏𝗏𝗍s. I mean, if you're an Akan, so 𝗏𝗏𝗍 Shandov. So,
okay.
And I used it because, or it came about because, I mean, a lot of people call me Derek. It's only in the last 5-6 years that people came to, relate with me from, I mean, with 𝗏𝗏𝗍 and all of that.
Okay.
It came about because back at the University of Ghana, when I was running for SRC president, when you're running, you need a brand that is easily sellable and relatable. Derek Shandov Ayrebiakwa was a bit too long. Okay, so to tighten it, we needed to build a brand, PKS. 𝗏𝗏𝗍 Shandov. That's how come the whole 𝗏𝗏𝗍 Shandov brand became very popular. But in senior high school too, when I was school prefect, Shandov became popular because of we had a certain senior house mistress. I think she's Miss Vida. I've forgotten her full name. I think Entry. She used to scream the name. Okay. She would stand. I mean, she would stand at a vantage point.
Hey,
in the school.
𝗏𝗏𝗍 Shandov.
Shandov, the way she used to scream it, that's what made it popular, because everybody knew me as Derek. But she was the only person who was always saying Shandov, Shandov, and then the Shandov became popular. And I personally, I like it. It has more flags. In recent times, there's been conversations about people having heavy names and all of that. Shandov is a very light and classic name, so that's how come.
All right, I want to still stick to my heavy name, and the name still remains the same. Adzika Vincent, which my friend also for Adzika for short. But 𝗏𝗏𝗍, tell us, from your secondary school, did you hatch this whole idea of becoming a journalist, and which is your secondary school anyway?
So this matter, I always say it. The last thing I ever thought of becoming was a journalist. It had never crossed my mind at any given point, not even for a second. And I'll take you through why sometimes I wake up, I mean, every day it is a surprise to me, and I'm very serious about it. Every single day it is a surprise to me, because in JHS, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I'm just telling you the story of my life. From primary school to JHS, I was a kind of person who was always first in class. It was a norm. So after school, I mean, when it is our day, when I go home, the concern of my late dad was always, and my mom, is whether we have brought the dishes, whether the dishes are intact. I mean, the ceramic bowls that we were given to, I mean, go to our day with, whether they were intact. They were not concerned about my report card, because for my dad, he said it had become a norm. It was, I mean, you would always see that, yes, the guy is first and all of that. Okay, fast forward, JHS, it was the same thing. At the time I was writing my BEC, we were 178. I was the overall best. I'm telling you a story. Look at why journalism doesn't make sense and I shouldn't have come into the fray. So if you look at all of those things together, and you remember that, I mean, growing up, when you were that kind of a shark in class, people always make suggestions to you. Become a medical doctor. You can become a medical, so they were throwing all those suggestions. So in JHS, my mind, what was on top of my mind was becoming Dr. 𝗟𝗑𝗏𝗘, because we had an uncle who served in the then PNDC government. Yes, he held a ministerial appointment, Dr. 𝗟𝗑𝗏𝗘.
Yes.
So my dad, I mean, everybody was like, okay, become the next Dr. 𝗟𝗑𝗏𝗘. And my dad was a writer and then an English author, so he worked with WAEC as an English examiner. Okay, so all the time he was teaching us how to write scripts and all of that. So we had that at the back of our minds, but I thought I was going to become a doctor. Then I went to 𝗏𝗲𝗎𝐻𝑖 Senior High School. 𝗏𝗏𝗎𝐻𝑖 Senior High School, I did business, nothing journalism. I was a business student. In fact, I left 𝗏𝗏𝗎𝗍 as the overall best business student. Okay, yes, I did accounting. And then my goal was to go and do business administration and become that kind of a banker or like an HR. There's this man at MIPL. I think you interviewed him last week, Mr. Metal. I mean, anytime I see him, it reminds me of what I've always wanted to become. Like I wanted to become a corporate executive. You see, those people who are doing management, that was my goal. University of Ghana, I entered University of Ghana. That's why we are coming to discuss the attacks that people have had on us. But look at what happened. University of Ghana, psychology, adult education, and religion. That bouquet didn't even make sense to me, and it wasn't something I was even excited about. What happened to admin, the admin I so wanted to do? And there is something in 𝗏𝗏𝗎𝗏, when you are school prefect, I was school prefect in 𝗏𝗏𝗎𝗏, by the way, when you are the senior boys prefect and you finish, normally there was an opening for you to go and study in South Africa, the African Leadership Academy. So when you go there, you can advance your studies and all of that. When University of Ghana didn't give me business administration, I felt like, okay, let me leave, let me go to the African Leadership Academy or travel outside or something. And then my dad, everybody was supportive of it. In fact, before I even bought the forms to apply to the University of Ghana, it was not part of the plans. I applied on the very last day, 3 hours to the closing of the whole, and they didn't even give me the business administration. Fast forward, entered the University of Ghana. First year, then I saw student politics, SRC affairs. And it intrigued me. I said, what is it that every day people are on radio, Radio Universe, people are on radio, people are doing punditry, people are doing analysis. And I liked the fact that people were talking, people were writing articles. You go to Vincent Hall's notice board, and then you are seeing articles on utility bills and blah, blah, blah. It felt good. And because I already had a background in writing, because of what my dad had exposed us to, I felt it was free. Then I was beginning to gain some interest. Then in level 200, I pitched camps with Radio Universe, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗘. You remember that journalist who was brutalized by the national security. So 𝗟𝗏 and I were both in 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗏. And all the time, 𝗟𝗏 would, anytime he saw me, he would say that, look, you are cut for journalism. He came to moderate a certain program, and all I did was I asked a question. I mean, 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏's presidential debate. So I
was in the same year with
you. No, he was a year
ahead of you.
So I raised my hands and then my hands and I asked the question. And 𝗟𝗏 said that, Charlie, this one there, you have to come to Radio Universe. So consistently, 𝗟𝗏 was always saying, Shandoff, you have to come to radio. The day Radio Universe was going to interview new entrants, okay, I'll wrap up the story very soon. The day Radio Universe was interviewing new entrants, I didn't even want to apply. And I remember, I think I still have the screenshot somewhere in my archives. Then Caleb came into my DM. Young man, where are you? Where are you being lazy? This is your opportunity. Don't miss out. He made sure that I dressed from Sabah, came to Radio Universe. When I went there, he was sitting. In fact, the whole interview session had ended. And he was sitting with another colleague, I think Jonas Nyabo. He was with City, he's no longer there.
Yeah.
And they said that
it appears Radio Universe is a hub for training.
Yes, it's
City FM journalists.
Absolutely.
Maybe 80% and the rest.
And even you may want to say even Joy, and if you want to go to the University of Ghana, by all means you pass through there in one way or the other. Okay, so the panel had been dismissed, but only the two of them were waiting for me. When I came, they said, okay, we already know you, just join us. They just wanted me to be part of the formality so that it wouldn't appear as if I was coming through the back door. Then I entered university. But look at what will happen. So I was going to start journalism. Don't forget, it was not my interest. It's not something I wanted to do in the very first place.
Yeah.
I started, and then the politics was still in me. SRC politics. Then I was appointed the public relations officer of the SRC. So I was the one speaking for all students across board. So if you were the PRO of the SRC, effectively you're like the information minister. Information minister cannot be a journalist at the same time. So I left Radio Universe quickly. So my stay there was very short. But destiny would, maneuver things in a way, blah, blah, blah. I will lose my SRC elections, blah, blah, blah. Then eventually I'll come back to journalism. Then I was the editor for Eugene File, so I was publishing stories, moderating debates extensively. Yeah. From there, then I pitched camps with GH1 Television. I was an intern there. I stayed there for a period, and then TV Africa came in. I was the morning show host there. I used to host the morning show. I was the editor, and then the primetime anchor as well. Then Joy News, and then now here. But like I'm saying, every day when I wake up, there is the politics sometimes still rings in my mind, and the corporate stuff is still always ringing.
You want to go back to the bank?
No, it's not as if I want to go back. It surprises me. And mine, unlike now, who have attended JE and then did journalism, me sitting here, I've not done any professional journalism. No. I think it's a thing of maybe skill and talent. Okay, something that I do with ease, writing, speaking, and all of that. But I've not started any formal.
Very well. So that if such talent and such intuition leading to a profession will be thwarted by the hooliganism of a certain political party, a certain individuals who would think, say, journalists need one come as This morning we are looking at the rampant attack on journalists in Ghana, and these are two media personalities have taken us through memory lane. Omachire ye wo omo anu mu kura microphone e wo mo ma ameyem ene wo mo so anu mu kura microphone omu nyina eneti hey. But in the past 10 years there has been 14 reported incidents of an attack on journalists. 2023 dear Bubruja, we know of that of the attack on UTV. We know that of the attack on the few journalists, including some pundits who were discussing issues on entertainment in media core. We don't want to be very specific, but in 2002 we also saw that rather bizarre attack on Adan FM. Yengalo ilika nyenge henu pure. Adam Ebikla, good morning to all of you. But let's go down in the year 2021. There was also that breach of protocol at Xylophone FM. It goes on and on and on. I mean, that popular May 21 story, exactly on the 11th of May, where some gun-wielding security officers stormed the premises of Accra-based City FM to arrest one of its journalists, Zoe Abu Beidu. And then this was followed by that rather unauthorized beating of Caleb Kuda, who I will call one of the mentors of 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗪. Look, it goes on and on and on and on. 2019, something happened. We know that story about Prophet 𝗟𝗍𝗪𝗘. In 2018, something 𝗟𝗏𝗪𝗘. Now we are asking if really this profession adwuma obi kaso no cry am fan wo no ebi so de miss nanom de wo mo de aba and then na akoba ne sem twerofo entokwa eduru ba bia ye de epion maboboa no okoka no anka ma obi aboy okoma obi so aboy. Now I want you to tell me your personal experience on how this job has brought you tears. Oh, ya no onin ukoye wadwuma afa de adwuma a wo ye no adane wani so. Tell me that bad side of these professions.
Okay, so when I stepped in Adzika television in 2018, I was then a news editor, and so it got to a point where there was a demonstration at 𝗟𝗏𝗘, the Obra Sport, and so all my reporters had gone out, and I was the only person in the office at that period, at that time. And so I was calling others to come in if they were done with their assignments. You know, the assignment is written on the board, you have your camera person you are going out with and all that. And so I realized that most of them wouldn't even get to the point where they have to come back to 𝗟𝗏𝗃 and then do the reportage. So I had to step in. Meanwhile, be mindful, I was supposed to read news that evening, 6 o'clock news that evening. Yet I was editing the news for that same day. And so I quickly took off my top. I wore the t-shirt with a printed Adzika television, a reporter behind, and then I took the jacket. I took my microphone. I called the camera guy, and then we left. And then the moment we stepped foot in 𝗟𝗏𝗃, there were pelting stones at the police van and all that. And then someone shouted, "We are reporting my NDC phone." So I was like, oh no, I'm not one of them. This is me. Look at my. So I took off the jacket and I was like, can't you read what the writing is on the t-shirt? And the writing in front was Adzika television. It had the media name or the media house's name on the t-shirt. And then the guy was like, oh, wait the minimum reporting my NDC for. Mind you, it was NPP that was in power around that time. So you could feel the kind of heat that was in the system. And then I had to go to where the policemen were. And then I introduced myself to them. I told them the media, oh, we've been watching you. Oh, we know you. Okay. So I told the man that I want to stand beside it so that in case there's any violence, I'll know where exactly to run off to. And then the people started pelting stones. And then they took the camera from the camera guy. And the camera guy was also struggling with them. Because you know the cameras come with a lot of money. You can't just...
And these were purported supporters of NPP.
Of NPP.
They were not in party colors, but they were just part of what
was happening. And then they were struggling with the cameraman. I was not using a microphone with a cord. I was using a cordless microphone. And so quickly the guy took the microphone from me and smashed it on the floor. And so my camera guy couldn't capture what was happening. And then they pushed me. Immediately they pushed me. The police people were up there on the other side of the overhead bridge. And then they were looking on at what was happening. So they started firing the tear gas. And then they just threw one in the direction of the youth. And then mistakenly it hit me.
Hey.
And so by the time I realized, I was being carried from that place up to where the policemen were. So later I asked my cameraman, what really happened? It was like, Ameke will report on other political parties. Meanwhile, we're not even reporting for anyone. We're reporting the incident.
And you were a Christian station. So you were not even an individual station where they can,
And so
did you not have your vest on?
I had my vest. Adzika television written. And then even my t-shirt I was wearing. I think it's that pictures, those pictures are still on my Facebook page. I have the Adzika television written boldly in front, and even with the t-shirt behind it is written reporter. But because I had the jacket on, the jacket had Adzika TV also. Okay,
behind. Reporter, but you are reporting for a certain political party.
That is what they thought. And so quickly the inspector on duty on that day did very well. The SWAT team picked me up from amongst the people, and then I was rushed back to where they were. And then they had to use a lot of water to, you know, wash my face to clear off the tear gas and then the burning sensation. And I can tell you, it's not, I'm saying this today and I'm laughing over it, but I got to the office around 6:05. I was supposed to read news that day. I couldn't read the news.
You could
No, I couldn't. Yes, I just couldn't read the news. And so I'm saying this today, and it's more or less like it's a joke, but it's no joke. It's no joke out there.
Wow.
No, it's no.
For a year, journalist for be akosem ana yedi hu enkomu. A year miss na mo favorite miss na ana walka ne hu. So wa poto ewo brofumu. Na de walka ne se oyen central nia. Wako ni suku ewie wesua na de a one Adwa TV ye adwuma. Afi yeso onkonko report nsem bi esi obra sport wa wako report. Oshana tade oba fefe obo ne makeup obo ne pons said ye na so ne haircut ni low haircut ti odi mu work
Ozapo ukosa ani we want to be makeup
sa sa jida no anya makeup okay any arefo munyi makeup side ni film na ye to aso it come sa na mi hu ya ga me ma wa kan otwi echi
you not
eti ekoba ne sa na obi say eh mami uko report ma yes amanyoko bi no amanyoko no hey munya ni bibia se microphone kra ye de hwe form so pu police fo so person o mo pattern to kwa ye to tear gas na mwem na ball miss na chese o so top form a that day when timi kra amani news hey obi asoma ukope bibia di ko twra asem fofie anto ata anka samrin kana onti ye TV station so a ode na ho ofe ye ni program kama. This morning we are discussing the rampant attack on some journalists. Ejumei ye bamu se nkasabe ye benya kakra so na yetimi e de atene ho but be yes ye ntokwade a enyema ho be gyaye ejumei amnam. But let's go to Derek.
Right now it's backwards, right?
It's backwards, yeah. We shouldn't go the Derek way.
It's only my mother and the few close people who
call you Derek.
Me, yeah, who
all right. For the first time on this show, I want to call you Derek because we are unearthing the secrets of your journalism life. But tell us, what has been your most bizarre point in this journalism work?
So I want to depart from the account of 𝗟,
okay,
because everything that she said was within the context of physical abuse, or let me say confrontational exchanges.
Yeah.
But that is just one part of the assaults that journalists across board suffer. There is also the cyber aspect, okay, or let me say the online attacks, and for me that has formed the core of my inconveniences. I don't remember anybody approaching me or physically assaulting me before. In any case, I had an experience. I mean, that was just at the University of Ghana. It was brief. This is a 𝗟𝗡𝗄. I was moderating their JCR presidential debate, and I was doing my job to the best of my ability. And there was one young man who he had quite a stature. He was, agitated because he felt that the questions and the questions I was asking were not making his candidate appear competent, because I was cracking him in that respect. So he threatened him, was moving forward, wanting to come in, and people had to stop him and all of that. That is my only experience with confrontation, physical confrontation. But the bulk of the, let me say, inconveniences I have suffered have been online, they have been digital, and they have been in the cyberspace. And that is what a lot of people normally do not discuss. But that one is stronger because sometimes the impact is even psychological. Secondly, it has prints that are traceable. Okay, whatever hits 𝗟, I'm sure, of course, if she had received medical attention and all of that, I mean, if she's not narrating it, we may not come back to it again. I mean, but when you experience the same attack within the digital space, first of all, it stays there permanently. And what is the nature of the attack? I'm going to explain a couple of them. And for me, I've had too many. It's only this year that I've not seen any.
Is it because you've come to a Christian TV station? The blood of Jesus is covering you.
Well, you see, it's not about you coming to a Christian station.
Yeah.
If someone wants to target you, whether or not you are, even if Jesus brings you down from the heavens and places you in the middle of the earth,
they will still
have it.
It's not. I agree. It's not where you are. Perhaps the reason it hasn't happened here yet, which I anticipate very soon it would, because of the show we are doing and a couple of things, is that first of all, I want to believe. I'm not very sure that maybe people are giving a certain level of respectability to the brand.
No, go back to our Facebook page. You see there.
Okay.
It's there.
Okay.
It's there.
All right. Fine. So it means that
even WTV,
yes,
that is a
Facebook
Christian
page.
station,
You know,
is being attacked constantly.
But me,
Constantly.
the bulk of what I've experienced, and I'll share one. I mean, the highlight of it with you is basically people. I write. I'm saying it's now that I have stopped. I've not stopped. It will come. But I used to, and I still critique issues. I mean, write a couple of paragraphs or publish a full-blown article, and all the time people would hit at you. And this is how it happens. Either they would throw dirt at you, they would lie about you, they'll exaggerate some faults, or they'll completely misrepresent you in a lot of ways. Okay, they would tag you to a party, accuse you of having gone to take money. Some would even go as far as even saying that you have done XYZ before in the past, you are ABC and all of that. And there was one young man who for example, let me give you a classic example. When the Yvonne Nelson, Yvonne Nelson had published a particular book about, 𝗟𝗏𝗘 and all of that. So public commentary was rife, and then I wrote, an open letter on it. And you should, if we can check, you should go to Twitter and see the viral. So my mother even, somebody from our church reached out to my mom and told her that Twitter. You see, and it was not because
Twitter.
Of course not. Of course not. And it's not because you had insulted anybody necessarily, but people were not disagreeing with the substance. They'll attack your personality, they'll attack your family, where you live, where you come from, facts they don't know and things that they have not even imagined. They'll throw all on board. The height of it, where I would have that could have even affected my job with my previous employers, was when I'll try and fetch that post. In my next submission, I wrote something about if I'm allowed to say, the king of the Ashanti kingdom. I did not even attack him. Okay, I just commented about the fact that in our part of the world, anytime anybody attempts to even criticize him or pass a comment about him, the person is attacked. Okay, so my concern was that, look, even the president of the republic, who supersedes every other person, we criticize him constructively and fairly. Why is it that anytime this king's name is mentioned, you dare not? That day, also, if I tell you the hell I went through, no, eventually I had to pull down the post, because look, the attacks were coming from every quarters. And my employers were now worried. So there was a meeting that was called that, look, it's not as if we want to gag or stifle you, but some of these things, it affects the brand and blah blah blah, and it became a very big issue. I eventually had to pull down the post, and I'm saying those attacks are severe, or I may want to even say more severe, because it's the psychological imprint. You are reading very unwholesome, dismissive, insulting, derogatory words about, and some people can have the time to tell lies. So and for women in particular, let me tell you how it happens. So someone like 𝗟𝗏𝗘, if she ever attempts to criticize anybody once, twice, okay, and they realize that the third time is uncomfortable, the debts they always throw at the women, that they are sleeping around with people who are huge and all of that all the time. So and as for our women in the space, it happens all the time. That you are doing with this minister. For the men, okay, you say you are not part of us. So,
I'm still a man.
So for the men, they would either say you are corrupt, or you're going to take money from somewhere, or they'll go and dig something in your past and amplify it out of proportion.
We'll be coming back. We'll be coming back, but we can certify and put our hands that now still remains a virgin. It is. They should.
Also,
let that comment pass. You don't want to interrogate that. This one is coming from his pastor. Osofo Ewi. He will call Osofo Ewi. Osofo Glover. This is very disturbing. Why are journalists being attacked? Ubana and Uba Shandoff in some more. It appears to say Emofra na who train woman are under serious trauma which sometimes they do not discuss. Also for then akobanisa.
Dog, in a part of our jurisdiction, every na ye develop ye hona ye ti enyame biase. Etino Oba Ghana hanmo any Africa hanuma practicing journalism. It's very, very, very dangerous and disturbing. And no so Ghana hanmo eduma dimpa na ye life threatening na very dangerous to class so and so class na ye tuaka ye
that part
Osafo
me we baby say me some say he etua
ask for that one ask for that this matter so
I mean it's true we Ghana hanmo eduma dangerous life threatening very disastrous I able to me end your life you know demanding a lot from you, Akitiano Isha, and to the big brand, you are not regarded. Any idea, and if you so know. Idea but no see it say Ghana had Munai one, any in Africa, you could see Ghana alone, they might find Ghana. Oko space, Mabon said about 70 to 80% of the media space is owned by politicians.
Okay.
It's owned by politicians. And I would say, journalism, any media space near the idea, will be set the agenda. A bemwa. It was almost set the agenda now a bemwa. Baby, or on one agenda now be setting. And sometimes, you know, who journalists no plan. When you say, Sadi, we are an agenda idea, opening for media space ni eyo omodia na say radio ni television ni eyo omodia baby omo pese okeka eniama de ko ya hye ya hye ene e dia brew odi ani say wo so ye de wo hwe na wo ka the end of the day no eye wo na wo be ka no ena de no attack no ebe ba wo ho na so de no nya wo na odi bo say mo amoti ye friend ene say wo so far dike ya wo ti e ho ni sie ya wo su program ni ade hye waso ena wo ba yi ya prepare script ni bia any senior nyama bi si akọ a ship bia de nyama e to the big plan na senior producer be pese o be kan one kan sa akwa de san anso e frɛ wachi sometimes kwa de betumi akobreak abekasa cho say ne pese o be kan
that's right
it kan no sa it na the end of the day no one behind the scenes no don't know what the journalists go through because wo ena ye eti efuelu ena esan say yen sans to develop ye hu nyama bebre ni em wa ema ye institutions no entumi enyina omo nan so brand a o metumi aye nyama e bema aboama nyama akosutiri wo be mu say ebre no journalists na no so no will take certain perspective a ebetumi aye den aboa na no na ya na wo be mu say Ghana ha obia se woye you say se wo hye GTV atalepe na chese wo ba bia wo fili de eye project so en fi GTV there are certain media station bi wo do ma e wo Ghana ha ma ebi se nye GTV se nye certain se national television eyi na hye wo na se wo hye any other journalism branded media space a year you are in for trouble because of the partisan political nature, partisan politics nature. Yes, you divide the country no into we ni had one or we can one more. And you know, Bibia Obekendiana one can a better will be line will be then you are the opposite side. Did there be an command say was said a day unya sa attacks. And you know, and yama attack journalism. Edosu one yenya nimdie degree ebetumi aboa ena institutions say ebetumi aboa with the educational ebetumi aboa ma temamufo no etumi ehu journalism anase journalist for no so ehu mfaso ewo man ni mu se omo ye nkrofo a omo boa ma eniama enkoye yetumi ediba abonten yetumi etrentre no some better truth to power na enyama esiesia e bi tentane nyina no journalist for the tumedege emi e de ba meti na mfo ne nso tumi atibie ne etoso mienu in Africa han any ayina ayewu power any politics any corruption no e doso eti no ubeko bebre no obi ampese na ta alifi anase nyama bone ebeye den ebedeja eti no se wukọ se ye wo na wo yi stanyama no ade apuadi a na wo se oye abeyi esan se amanfo live view e depending on sa corruption stanyama nyama so e no mpese ade no stanyama no ebi e na wo yi di apu e na amanfo so enti ase eti no na akofa sa o ha na ba e na afi so no Ghana ha any in Africa no a lot of people because of the economic dispensation I will know a lot of people are depending on sometimes corrupt individuals are almost corrupt means so and omode enya omo and because of that you know say uko can say nipa na sempe when you any peace be because omo depending was any nipa so endos
yeah
and the omo say niama na nipa na ye no enye eti no na che say once abakoka mo asem then they will be coming at you and also so ya dia ewo Africa any Ghana and in particular ewo say ye be ni yi corruption na ye nya niama yi ti da bia na amafo de niama esuma journalists so de aduma enwaduma ne say eniama enta ene niama enya se ye kan wasem ma omo ewo say 2-1 na mo etutu 1 na mo journalists we aduma no ebi a omo de beba no eye fine ebua ebi susu wo hoduma emwa ebinum edebinum hu bekwa koka eduam fine de edum kura bekwa akoto efiase and because of that omo a sankofo no depending on sankofo no they will be coming at you
yeah
ena essence media space na kasa no susu no is dominated. Majority of the media space is dominated by politicians and almost setting agenda to benefit their political parties. Eti no say uye upa say independent radio kwana say private radio kura no obu ama say o Canadian obasa media space o Canadian etre na din pa yi the next moment if we want to say nipa no akọ pick form
yeah
go gina into the political party
enti ye won sana ho there has been precedent enti so for na me do AC ho kakra no ho no ba studio na so there has been precedent then can the journalist be neutral because sometimes journalists attract enemies for themselves. We know that consistently you are talking about a certain political party, consistently you are talking about a certain situation, but they do it there. Now, recently, somebody who jokingly, I don't know, call it an accusation. So for edu amanyoko eya, o can gidi edu be there no ako soft. I said, wow. Can a journalist ever be neutral?
So you see, for someone like Shandov likes to write. So usually there's an issue concerning a particular political party, and he's going to write something pertaining to that. Now there is me who wouldn't. I'm not so much of a writer. I love to actually read a lot. That doesn't mean that I don't like to write. I write, but I'm not like Shandov. So for someone like Shandov would write about it. And so tomorrow, if so to speak, if the other political party Shandov hadn't written about decides to do something bad or does something contrary to what he had written in probably a month or a week ago, and Shandov doesn't write about it, then it means that Shandov is affiliated to that particular political party.
But
and for me, who would sit on screen,
there is evidence in this country that some of these journalists are paid and they are on the payroll of some of these political parties, and also for rightly so said. You been one some kofa for na omujina eye amanyoko we ticket to so. The people who also attack are acting based on precedent.
There are also some of us who are not on any ticket of any political party. The issue will come, and we'll speak about it just as we are supposed to do. Like we sat here, and then an issue of the LGBTQ thing came up. We said it here. Ex-President Mahama spoke about it, that he would make sure that we sign or we do not agree to LGBTQ. Now we're waiting for Dr. 𝗟𝗡𝗍𝗘 to also come out. And we have to hit and say that we want him to also come out and say something. And eventually, he came out to say, so if by the time he came out to say it, even if it was a weekend, it was a Saturday, and we're not here, probably on Monday, when we come back on screen, we should talk about it. But the moment we don't talk about it, then it means that we are on the ticket of Dr. 𝗟𝗡𝗍𝗘. The moment we don't talk about the fact that ex-President Mahama said something, then it means that we are affiliated to the NDC. And for me, it's one of the things that I wouldn't want to associate myself with, or I would pray that wherever media house I find myself in, I wouldn't be given a show like a political show. It's not because I am fearing the fact that I want to be on a... No, far from that. We can talk about politics on a neutral basis, and it will be fine. But the fact that someone will sit back, like today, this morning, a typical example happened. We were on the 𝗟𝗏𝗏 segment. Now someone calls and the person was like, also for me here and can ye or ye PR the churches. I mean, what?
Okay.
Yes, he was doing PR for the Asafuna pictures. Meanwhile, these people are not even. You mentioned, he said they are Pentecostals, right? Okay, so these are just a particular group of the whole Christian fraternity. And then you wake up and then you give us you paint a picture as if the man is doing something so wrong. And so sometimes people are very scared. Yes, there are instances where journalists have been part of a particular, have been affiliated, and they make their stance very much glaring to the general public that I am supporting party B. I'm supporting the party with the blue color. I'm supporting the party with the green color. But some of us, from where we stand, how we were trained in journalism school, you are taught and you are told emphatically that do not allow yourself to be bought by political parties. Right. Don't allow yourself to be bought by individuals and let them tell you what to do. As a journalist, you are serving as a mouthpiece for individuals, for communities, for states, for industries, for agencies. And so why would you stand and wait? Well, there's also a reason for why people will do that or will affiliate themselves with a particular person or a political party or an agency or an institution. We'll come back to that. And that has to do with the remuneration of the journalist.
All right. Shandov, can the journalists ever be neutral? Is it not true that some of you journalists are on the payroll of some of these political parties? Is it not the case? Very typical of what happened at Peace FM on a day. I mean, you see that the panelists on that day were vehemently speaking so ill about one political party. So another party also said, hey, is that not the case? I wanted to ask whether you've been on the payroll of any political party.
So, the truth of the matter is that
he didn't answer that.
Well, so some things are not supposed to be answered.
I think for the fact that I said it, I mean emphatically, I've not been.
You've not been on the payroll.
It's not something. It's not
so
something.
That way.
Oh yeah.
Now are you on the payroll?
I am not. But I'm not gotten anyone to even give me 5 cedis out of their own account.
I'll come to that. Even if I were, there is a caveat. I am not. But even if I were, I'll explain it. The truth of the matter is that the concept of neutrality is something that we should not even import or expect of journalists in the very first place. I honestly do not understand why we bring up the conversation about neutrality, why we say journalists should be neutral. No human being can be neutral at any given point. And I'm going to explain to you why. The concept of neutrality simply implies that at every given point, you don't have a choice, you don't have a preference, and then you don't have an orientation. But that is impossible because
you're humans.
Na was born, we are humans. Na was born in a particular home. She was raised in a particular religious context. Politically, her parents and those around her would have, as it were, maybe fed her with some narratives, okay, which would inform her disposition on national issues, religious issues, and every other sphere of life. Now grows up and says that I want to become a journalist, a news reporter, and we are expecting Na to be neutral. Do you know the absurdity in that expectation? It doesn't make sense because then we are asking Na to go back to being a baby. It's only babies who are neutral. But the moment you are exposed to the world, you confront things, you have experiences. Those experiences will form your thinking, your philosophies, your ideologies, and your preferences. So nobody can be, I want to make the point, nobody can be, first of all, neutral in the very first place. Lawyers are not neutral, judges are not neutral, pastors are not neutral.
Pastors are neutral.
Nobody.
All right, let me open the phone lines and you can come.
You just have to be non-partisan.
Give me just 1 minute to wrap
all
up.
Right, all right, just 30 seconds, yeah.
Pastors are not, nobody is neutral. But what we are all expected to do when we enter a professional setting is to be indeed dispassionate and professional. So like a high court judge or any judge in any of the courts, when a judge sits to adjudicate a matter, they may have their preferences. In fact, the person that they may even be, you know, the case may involve may be a relative. But at that point, you're expected to be truthful to the law and the facts of the issue. That is professionalism. So sitting here as 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗏, I have a political party that I believe. There's an ideology that I subscribe to. But when I sit in my capacity as a journalist, what are the expectations? It's not neutrality. Because it will not even make sense to say, and normally when we even talk about neutrality, we restrict it to political neutrality. But there is also religious neutrality. There is even food neutrality. Okay, there is the soccer. I support Manchester United, the best club in the world, of course, for that matter. But if I have to report on any sports story, I would be fair to the fact. So
okay. Let me open the phone line.
I couched this in 10 seconds. I couched this some time ago when I realized that the conversation of neutrality was becoming excessive. I said that journalists should be dope, D-O-P-E. D means they should be dispassionate, O, they should be objective, P, they should be professional, and E, they should be excellent. They cannot be neutral.
That is dope.
So I'm a dope journalist.
That is dope. 𝗦𝗏𝗍𝗏 the dope journalist and not the swag journalist. All right, 0256 2534610538350625. Ahwefo ye bie telephone no. And that question ye bisa de di kan ye say snit ye sika ye de amon so mo hwe so mo nkora mayen no. E fata se ye bekoso ama wo mo ho ye dwo mu di. Na afi ye ba ye so a ye asem kese so a de ye kan se journalist fu a ye burum almost se bro ye nkoso amro mo na isane se ebi akwa gina manyuku echi ebi bi echi pakwesi no mo say you can never be neutral na anom so akoma sam bro ye brom tear gas aye dia bro na ne oguso te ha enya senketo but ye nko ka so a ye nko bisa Elvis wadwen kire ne sen
my view is that I know anything. Yeah, APP and then and a shati. Many people generally, if one man cast the brain, Nyachum, any person in and a how.
Yeah.
And yet, you did suffer. You did suffer or China, a bit near so. In the same year, Bami Swanka Metakano, and a force of Fusuno, or Semijina side, Biana, and support to suffer. Senior day, I've one sorry or suffering so a one baniso. Mase, Etian young Kuhua, Etian, that's to bind a award journalism with Manu. Because the journalist for sorry, GJA, or more money than you, excuse me to say, defend the journalist. That's what Muna Yedaro.
All right.
Not say you may back who say, okay, the same on the yet you do not vote. I see your report to case, you're close to all media houses. She said, then the Batsan said, in some food every day.
All right. Yeah, that's it.
Obviously, say. We 40 a jaya. Oh, some men never opinion mommy, never reporting more. No man for a change. It's said, yeah, the Minokwa and Mammy did it at a generally. Political, the journalist from Qatar. One of them was Tosha on the end. I'm going to be a woman. And the Mia Yasu, that's a man who play. Only because fear the attire yet.
All right. Yo, yeah, better say. Yeah, better say. I think your point is made.
Also, there's this member of parliament and minister of this state. I wouldn't say that I have vowed, but in case I be a assignment, no, kasa, I'll give the microphone to another person to bring to her. But pass me with the microphone back up man dia. Means no means no quote and unquote. Some of the submissions and any comments is so rude. And I can remember me the microphone no come on. I say I don't talk to baby stations. Wow. That was the statement she made.
About WTV.
And yet WTV. She said she doesn't talk to baby stations. And I told myself, if this woman is coming to talk, pa said na the microphone.
But you also so unyanasem.
Oh, and I'm chance say me the me fa microphone go jinani. It's the microphone is me cameraman now. And I said the other reporters who would gather to me the microphone but pa say because you see some of these statements is what breeds some of these things.
Baby station.
Baby station. And you think a baby would never grow? You think a child who is breastfeeding from the mother's breast would not be weaned off? You think that child will not get to a point where he buy a crèche, he buy a nursery school, he buy a primary, he buy a JHS, and then you make this statement?
That would be your last comment. That would be your last comment.
For this conversation.
Yes, we are wrapping up.
What's the time?
44.
Oh, that's
but let's go to Francis and we'll come. You can put your thoughts together. Francis.
Hello.
Hey, go more for what to say.
Yami Adum.
Yet you.
Ready, Shram. Eddie Kine, my name is Nanya Green said, because of me, Yaka Trinity. Ocean will be our own calling. She would rather have to prove to that fellow said, Onimne Juma, Nti Nabemu, na a bedroom baby, Nipa or Casa, no be who say, on your baby journalist. Even if so, baby stationer, on your baby journalist, but I'm a short journalist. It's me name dream war.
Right.
Also for idea about when say, if you be a monster, it's journalist, a Jumana, will be a bibayan no cremo, a bin so to send you can say political parties in the cry or one crop for where you might be mount. But a journalist should not be beaten. Idea and yet, yeah, program and a wafa only pass on very report amount. Near any then or back capture. And I mean, so I'm using me a neutral station and I'm a neutral journalist now. Me so near me own interest to woman near Kosubiana and I'm a capture. There is no way, say, as I say, your borough will be. After all, say, near my capture, no office and you're no cry. You can take me to court. Not Yasha, someone I can. But say, I'll bet you will be a bono because. Or capture some events in there, share Miss Na story our kind. Also, for a day back on say, Mr. Say a boy and journalist for home, say a best shamra crana event be a no say, a bema journalist be a police officer and a military personnel. Because ye shama ye boni we ye essay on cameras and son a ye sunny a bejuon. Meanwhile, I can bet me about one home by near Juma is so obey no I'm bet me na I'm obey.
All right, that's it. Yeah, that's it, Francis. Yeah, so let's
clarify this. So if I mention the ministers, the said minister's name right now, you would know. Even you said you are not a journalist, but Quarcoo can attest to the fact that it's not the first time that woman is making such purported statements. And I think that maybe you have a fair idea about who that lady is. And I'm not mentioning names though, but I'm saying that if I should mention the name right now, I think that even if there are other media houses watching us, some may even call in and say that, oh no, it's coming from this person. So sometimes these words are very much demeaning to the person because I don't think you would even say this to me. You should rather be saying this to motivate me as a mother.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So, Quarcoo, your last word.
To touch on this, visibility and impact are not the same thing. Okay, you can be widely visible, you can have numbers subscribing to you, but it doesn't mean that you are impactful. So, that distinction must be well situated. So when anybody at all decides to say that I don't speak to a baby station, normally when somebody says a station is a baby station, they are looking at popularity, visibility, but that does not necessarily translate into impact. Indeed, there are a lot of the
figures
media,
are low.
Yes,
but
indeed, there are a lot of the media houses that we tout as heavyweights and giants and all of that, but their impact, proper impact on development and indeed public discourse and opinion shaping may be very low. Look at this program that we run here, for example. Everywhere, anytime we open the phone lines, look at the number of people who call. Look at the number of people who consume our content. And there is a rule one of my former bosses taught me. He said that the true economics of what we do is not measured by how much we produce, but how much is consumed. So you may tout yourself as you are the titan in media, you are the biggest media fraternity, you are the biggest media house, you are producing XYZ shows. But if it is not being, first of all, properly consumed, if it is not shaping opinions, if it is not affecting lives, properly speaking, you are doing nothing. So look at the number of people who wake up every morning to watch Sorina Strength. Look at the motivation, look at the insights and all of that. That is impact. And impact is not always visibility. Sometimes they go together, sometimes they are on different curves. All right. And so I think that, anybody who makes that comment, for that particular woman, she's particularly reckless. But I do understand she even has future political ambitions, and Mr. Atta would know the woman in question. But I think we'll suspend.
All right, that is that.
The one I mentioned?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
3 seconds.
In 3 seconds, I won't say that journalism is a professional enterprise. It gives you the opportunity to influence minds. Besides, I think it's a ministry, and I'm ending on this. Give me just 1 minute. You know, in Romans chapter 12, verse, I think 2, Paul wrote to the church and says that, do not be conformed to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. The content or the instrument for the renewal of the mind is information. Journalists are the heart of fronting and, as it were, empowering and dispersing information. So we are actually in a ministry. A story somebody can read coming from you in a day may be the source of the person's depression or encouragement. Yeah. The way you articulate a story, the way you present, the way you sit on, like the way you are bubbly every morning, okay, it may be that thing that somebody is needing to, start a day right. So journalism itself is a ministry. It's only unfortunate that the compensation is not often.
We will be discussing compensation and journalism one day. But also for Global, you have the last 30 seconds to just wrap up. 30 seconds, sir.
Yeah, no, and anyone journalism practice, it's enormous. And I'm make I said, to say, Sanya will be a caller before say journalists will be now to me about to say, Yem Koba for a year, we are not saying journalists who to me any because. And I make actually say the panel so new about media stations and radio and television stations are a war Ghana had about 70 to 80%. And your politicians and political parties. So I'm saying I say, we are die-hard political politicians. So I'm say who say individual and then GJ Nankasa and a GJ Nankasa to even regulate and to make sure say proper sanctions are met. When you pray one for no and no nyagwesa, so I'm making us say, I know you will see you to share Yaman, you to me at Yamasi. Then education must also go on. They are developing the idea, NCC, the idea to me, Abwa, Timem, Fona, Amanem, journalists for no intuma, but I said, Omoye. Now, Timem, Fona, to me at Tias, no. Here in Yasi, a web journalist for no to me, I hear Omoduma, send you a set. And if you soon to my money for now, we do a class of social. It's journalist for a bit too almost social. Yeah. Say training, any the ethical a year, yet the actual and swimming now. They should make it, it should come to bear in their practice. Any, yeah, all right. To me, I'm what. And there might be Emma or more ethical willing to be ended, but they must be able to try as much as possible to work so that a woman will to me abwa baby am obi aswear to me
very much well. Also for the Right Reverend Jamara Morrison, past Bishop of Universe. So for Nyankopon Shroud, baby, your comment. Now you are saying, my brother, I think that using nice experience, can't such politicians or ministers be boycotted or blacklisted by journalists? This is a question. Yes, this is a question also Morrison is asking. Also for journalists have been doing this. The GJA has done it in recent times. A letter was written to all journalists to do this, and the ban was also lifted at some point in time. Journalists are doing it through the GJA. All right, so we don't want to mention names today because of how discreet we want to make this conversation, but also thank you for your comment, and to all others who brought in comments, thank you so much. Discussants have been from Zoom, also for the Reverend Samuel Glover at Santing, and with us here in the studios, Miss Na and 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Thank you all of you, dear journalists. Well, we are drawing curtains to the close of this segment of our show. I am still a man of God. The Methodist Church Ghana has ordained me. I will remain a minister of God, so I shall be. But via Daniel Homba, we are going to WhatsApp on social media, and we will bring to you birthdays as well. See you soon. Yeah.
That went. Wisdom lives to my boy, funny nature. Eba here, boa,
All right. Okay, thank you. That is a beautiful song. Unfortunately, we need the editor collection in it, and so we can't use this for our collection. But let's go straight away on WhatsApp. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go. All right, let's go.
So it's time to find out what is happening on social media, and I pay offer phone. Now, unya data. Credit kakre guswa na ubandela na wabomu era on X to find out what is trending on X. Anything we want to bring to you. So the top trends trending in Ghana is John Mahama. We also have trending in Ghana Medina, and Medina is trending because I understand that in the course of the day there's going to be a launch for Kayaye Hostel for skill training. So that is why Medina is trending. Trending in Ghana, hashtag stop misinformation, and it's in relation to bloggers who give out wrong information. Trending in Ghana again, President 𝗟𝗩𝗘𝗿𝗘 with 1,585 posts. Sammy Jemfi is trending. Fela and medical they are trending, and marriage is trending with 80.8k posts. And if marriage is trending, then we have a post on WTV Ghana's Facebook page for you concerning marriage. Quickly, let's take a look at the post on WTV Ghana's page, and this is what the post is. WTV Ghana posted a day ago, and we said, what do you think? Managing finances in marriage. Don't think about marriage when you don't have work. Don't think about marriage when you don't have work. And this was a statement by the very Reverend Dr. Abraham Boateng, and people commented. Imani Imprint said, but they said marriage brings blessing. What about that? What if the marriage brings blessing of job? Okay, Maxwell Tofor also says, humanly speaking, this is true, but with God all things are possible. The word of God says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtained favor in the sight of God. The favor of God makes the impossible possible. I think this favor is a special one, and you can only get it when married. Okay, Maxwell and so Nadjane, no, Deborah Hammond and so say they won't listen. No, are you preach on? Nina says, bam, it's a sin. Well, I didn't know that's a sin. And there's another comment from Ophelia, God's love. It's not really about work. It's about the favor that comes after marriage, because people can also lose job after marriage. Yeah, that's true. And Ewutu says, taking care of someone's daughter cry is a form of work. Nana Yobu and so say Adam and Eve were not working, but God put them together. What about that? Okay, Henry Metal Henry Metal is also saying yes, so well said. Ruth Obeng, okay. And Paco says, what if the marriage is going to give a job? Okay, Paco and so na drain train and now or day at so. Let's take a look at another post. On that note, I will encourage you to go to the WTV Ghana Facebook page. We have a lot of interesting things for you there. You can also follow us, like and share. And we have another post, Akosia Tasty Recipe, posted on Instagram, and she said, what business can you do with 60,000 Ghana cedis in this current state of the economy? A lot of people have said a lot of things. Let's take a look at it. So Khadija says, that's even too much. I need just 500 or 800 Ghana cedis to start my Zafi business. Luckily for Khadija, I think they said, please, can we talk? Okay,
Khadija, please start.
Khadija,
tell me where the joint is. I'll come.
Congratulations to you. So some Genesis says, my Amansia says, baby diapers and sanitary parts, the diapers especially, into also 60,000 Ghana cedis and no na what the 90s collection says 60,000 pounds. Buy Ghana, please. Okay. Upon Kisiedu says, buy as many aboboya and collect rubbish. Try it and see. Okay, it's also the business idea, no. And another person to like the comment and they say, $4 na pay baby tna. $4 60,000 Ghana cedis. $4 na pay baby tna. It's also.
I think I like the last comment.
The comments no. Also so I will fear our share. We have 60,000 Ghana cedis a day in business and now the amount for and our mature or more Jane. Let's take a look at the video of the day.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
All right. We are men's fellowship in here. But say tie actually a bopa. Into men's fellowship for one day we'll come and demonstrate how to put on a tie. What the guy did is just one of the methods. But the way you can do it. I was taught how to put on a tie in St. Peter's.
St. Peter, yeah. But if you come to Agri Memorial Senior High School,
they teach you how to put on tie.
Yes, the men.
Producer, can we close?
Producer says that.
Interesting.
Can we close the show? I think we are. All right, so let me read this one. And to Onukpa Fefe, Nyami Onukpa, the very Reverend Dr. Samoni Mai Olenu, the Bishop-elect of Accra Diocese. May God bless you and grant you more unction for this new chapter of your life. And this is coming from Adzika Vincent and the entire crew.
Happy birthday.
All right, so this is for Emmanuel. God bless you.
Okay, so
right,
happy birthday to you, Celestina A.C. Arthur. Wishing you a happy birthday and may God lift you up and set you on high. And I pray that you enjoy life in good health. And this is from Winifred Quarcoo.
Happy birthday, Yoko Abedu. May the good Lord continue to bless you with all that you wish for yourself from Abi, children, and siblings. Auntie, happy birthday to you. Another happy birthday goes to Glenda Na Ajoko Anang. And the message is birthday blessings galore from Daddy, Mommy, Griselda, and the entire family. So that is...
All right, so let me read this one. Yeah, bro, manyaba awo kula poma kata la TV akpom. Yeah, bro, mabade.
Yeah.
Manyaba awo kula poma kata TV akpom. And so from the entire family, our brother Salom Adzati of the Communication and Publications Directorate of the Methodist Church Ghana, we say God bless you and God bless your new age. Yeah, bro. Ajagba mau nairao. Maba mau nairao. That's a good one. God bless you.
Yema. That's it.
Hey, this man now.
You're lost.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
I'm lost. You see why I said that I want to associate myself with Evers. You see the reason.
I'm here.
You see the reason.
If I'm here, which association?
The two of you will decide to say, yeah, direct association. Me, I just said direct
association. Which association?
I am 100% fancy.
Hey.
And I am 100% ever.
Exactly.
So from today, I'm coming for training.
All right, dear
Seriously.
friend, it's been a wonderful 1 hour time. It's far gone, but you know we will salute our gallant sponsors and straight away on a trot. Downwall Insurance, Methodist University, KFK Foods, Sankofa Natural Spices, MIPL, and Credit Phono. We are so grateful to you for holding us up. Maya, the Ochana, we are coming again. Remember, tomorrow we are holding here the entire lay connection movement. About their impending colloquium. Until then, my name is Adzika Vincent Agbamanyamene.
I'm Rachel Messi.
All right, it's a bye-bye for now. Bye.